Good morning.
Right. Woohoo. It's 10
Yeah.
o'clock on Wednesday.
Good morning, everybody, on this gloomy day.
All right. It's Ohio. It's gloomy.
It's
It's wet.
December.
It's
What do you
muddy.
expect?
Yeah. All right. Well, we already have some comments waiting for us. And hopefully Chrissy will be back to join us. But maybe do you want to go ahead and like start answering them and then she can
Sure,
check
go
out the
ahead.
replay?
Yeah, they're here. Let's go.
So Chrissy says, hi to both of you. Marianne, thanks for talking on Zoom Friday night with me. Thursday morning before the Zoom meeting, I took both the mirrors I had outside. It felt way differently in the house ever since I did that. You never said anything about a portal that night, wondering if that was the problem.
From what I remember, there is no portal. That's why I was surprised about people lined up walking into the mirror. So I don't know. But I did not pick up on a portal.
And then she asked, also, do you remember what the teenage boy looked like that was standing in front of the closet doors? Um, what was he
No.
wearing? How old?
I talked to over 25 people that night. No. Mm-mm. Again, don't ask me what I had for breakfast yesterday morning because when I'm done, I'm done.
And she says, I should have told you I only saw two people at a time. That was the night I got choked, which I don't remember that part, but I was also muting myself and stalking
Right.
the I was
Well, I
there.
know she ordered stuff from the store, and so I'm sure when she gets the charms, she'll be better. And I don't know if she's gotten them yet or not up with the post office. I do not know.
Right. When I was seeing on the news this morning, like the backlog of like the trucks and the semis in the Cleveland post office parking lot. So a lot of stuff going nowhere fast.
I think they said there were 30 trucks waiting to unload. Some of them have been there already for 10 to 12 hours waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I This is going to be a very weird Christmas with gifts coming in February. You watch.
Oh, right, like Christmas part 2.
That's right.
So James would like to know, he says, good morning. Marian, what is the youngest spirit you've encountered child-wise, and how did you assist them?
The youngest earthbound children I have ever found were 3, and there were very, very few of them. And they talked like they were 5 or 6. Very, very smart children. Babies, toddlers, grandmas, grandpas, guardian angels. Somebody comes and gets those babies when they die. They are never stuck. I know a lot of people say that they're sleeping at night, they can hear a baby crying in the attic. That's just some earthbound adult ghost being a smart aleck. You are not hearing a baby cry. A lot of times it could be a cat outside crying that almost sounds like a baby, but it is not a ghost baby. So 3 was the youngest, and it was funny. Well, not funny, haha, but funny, strange, is that she told me what her aunt was doing to her, and the aunt was breaking a green canning jar. She said, when she peels the peaches and puts them in the green jar and then cooks them. So I think she was describing her aunt canning peaches. He says, but she was very angry and she broke up the green jar and put it in my food. The aunt killed her. And I was so shocked that a 3-year-old would even know that. The other 3-year-olds that I've run across, maybe 3 of them or 4 of them, were more like regular kids and they had died of a sickness. They had not, to my knowledge, been killed. But the first 3-year-old that I ran across actually had been killed and she knew how. It was during the war, and her parents in Germany or Poland sent her here to America to stay with her aunt and uncle, because they were afraid that she would get killed or hurt. And then her parents actually did get killed and didn't want her. So there's some pretty stories out there sometimes.
Not our happy, fun Wednesday morning stories.
No, but you asked, and there you go. Don't ever underestimate kids. It's amazing what they actually pay attention to.
Well, that's, always the joke. They learn the words you don't want them to learn, like the cussing, and ignore the things you want them to know. Now, were you able to get the 3-year-olds to kind of go in through the light pretty easily?
Yes, especially with the one that had been killed. I said, "Do you want to see your mommy and daddy?" And as soon as I made the light, she saw her mommy and daddy. So she definitely went into the light. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I had been hoping that the mother and father hadn't gone to the light so they would be given this aunt some grief. But it didn't work out that way.
Like the one time that somebody deserves to be haunted.
That's right. That's right.
So let's see. We have Sandy saying hi. Michelle Reed says that she loves it doing this on Wednesdays. Never mind my cat over there being loud, if you can hear him. Renee says, Marianne, have you ever encountered the shadow figure people call the Hat Man? What do you think of this entity? I'm so glad I don't have to work today.
Okay, Renee. Different regions have different ghosts that seem to be regulars. I don't know if your Hat Man is called the man with the top hat that people seem to see in this area. A top hat like Abe Lincoln wore, actually, the tall stove type hat. If that's the same one that you're seeing out Minnesota, I think, then it could be. But people seem to see one very specific ghost in certain places a lot. And I almost wonder if it's because people start talking about it and the earthbound spirit goes, oh, geez, if I put a top hat on, they'll know who they'll know it's a ghost. Could be. I don't know. I've never run across a ghost with a top hat on, so I don't really know.
Patrick says hello. We have Stephen from Indiana. Maybe we should start our little fun. How many from each state do we have and see who wins today?
Yeah.
Pam wants to know, says, hello, when you make the light, can the relatives be seen by the spirit crossing over as in the first light? And I think you kind of answered that with a little girl.
Yeah, they absolutely can. Yes, they can.
Lisa says, hello. Let's see. Patrick asks or says, good morning, Marianne. Are you able to see earthbound spirits in photos, even if the photo looks blank to people who don't see spirits?
If it's a recent picture within a year or two, I not usually see a spirit, but I could at least see if there's residue from a spirit on who's ever in the photo, or if they have negative energy on them. But it has to be a fairly recent photo. I can't do anything about it, but at least I can tell you if it's there or not. That's why a lot of people, like at Melissa's this Saturday at the Goddess Elite, a lot of people will be bringing photos in for me to look at to see if I can see anything in them. So that's one of the things that I can do a little bit of, if it's, like I said, if it's a recent photo.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever hear about that story? I believe it was a gentleman and their children where the ghosts were like writing things and it would show up in the Polaroids.
No, that I've never heard. I've heard of spirits, especially, I hate to say it, especially in bathrooms. When you come out of the shower, the window is fogged up. And there's a lot of, the mirror rather is fogged up in the bathroom after your shower or bath. Sometimes there are definitely messages there. Or when you take the wash rag and you wipe the mirror down and all of a sudden you see somebody standing behind you. That has happened, which really creeps people out. But no, but it's funny you say that because in the YouTube that's on today, it's about Christmas, ghosts that have messed up or have been in Christmas holidays, people wrote in about, and there actually is a message in one of those stories today. So it's funny that you asked that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll have to. I can't remember. It's an American story, but I'll have to dig around.
Yeah, that I've never heard.
Yeah, like this white type of writing would show up in the air, and they were able to capture it with like Polaroid. So there was, people half on the believing side of the fence, the other half like some sort of trickery. It was always interesting. It was one of the first ones, like way back when, that ooh, look at this.
Right.
Uh,
Everybody, anything that's a little unusual, I think that's the first place everybody goes. How did they figure out how to do that? They don't give the credit sometimes to where the credit is due because,
right.
well, it's a lot. That's a lot with UFOs. It's so easy to make something look like a UFO in the sky that nobody believes that there are such a thing as UFOs because it's too easy to pretend that there are. So, but I think, especially with electronics the way they are now, I think people can probably do anything.
Well, some of these people that pull off such really good fakes need to be working in Hollywood. You
That's
know,
right.
obviously they have a skill set.
Right.
Lewis asks, what is the most an earthbound spirit can do in the physical world?
Oh gosh. Seriously, it depends on how much energy they have. You know, if they don't have a lot of energy, they're going to just be standing in a corner somewhere, not doing a whole lot. But if it's the week working up to a new moon or an eclipse, like we just had on Monday, the new moon was the solar eclipse. They always have more energy from that. They can definitely move things, close things, open things. Um, you can sometimes during that period of time, people can actually see them, even if they catch them out of the corner of their eye. So there are certain times of the month that they absolutely have more energy. But I have to say, with everybody under all the stress and the aggravation and worried with the COVID and stuck in the house and jobs and bills and everything else, ghosts in the past 6 months have been living large because they have gotten a lot of energy from a lot of people this with all the aggravation. And again, that's how earthbound spirits keep on going with energy from humans. So they've had a good run with this
COVID, and I'm sure with the election and everything else.
and that's not over. Almost, I think.
Right. Let's see. So Renee says, asks, do you think ghosts have ever killed living people? I heard of them of pushing people downstairs.
I would not be going into houses, Renee, if I thought a ghost could kill me. Absolutely not. Now, the stair thing, you can be running up a flight of steps and they materialize at the top of the steps. You lose your balance, you fall backwards, you die, but they didn't push you. I've gone into houses where there were serious fires and but they messed ghosts would mess with the fuse box or a bad wire on a lamp. They didn't light a match and set the house on fire, but they caused it to happen. And maybe somebody did die in that. But no, a ghost cannot kill you. They can scratch you, they can blow in your ear, they can run their fingernails up and down your back in the shower, they can lay next to you on bed, they can hold you down on bed, but they cannot kill you. No.
Which is comforting.
To a point.
Right. I mean, I know before you came out and got rid of that creepy old guy that I had here, like I started walking down the stairs sideways because I'm like, I'll be damned if you're going to get me going up or coming down.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's it. They don't push, but they do something where you catch them out of the corner of your eye and you lose your balance or you lose a step. That's if they're riding with you in the front seat of your car when you're driving. They don't grab the wheel. They don't put their foot on the gas pedal. But if they make some kind of a noise or move where you catch them out of the corner of your eye and you look in that direction and there's the wheel going that way and you have an accident. They might have helped cause the accident, but they didn't actually move the wheel. You did.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Shoni says, hello. Can you tell me if something is going on in the spiritual world because of the world situation? And oh yeah, she's from Germany. Or he.
Oh,
hard to
very
say.
Nice. Very nice. Like I said before, the virus is everywhere. It's around the world. So yeah, I'm sure everybody is in terrible tension there in your country, just like it is over here. And so, yes, they do have more energy because of that. And it's hard not to be worried. So it's almost like it's a win-win for them because the harder we try not to worry about it, it's almost like the worse it is. So.
Mm-hmm. Melanie says she's giving you advice to protect her puppy. Getting him a quinseed.
If there is a ghost that is mean to your animals, and of course it would be very easy for them to be mean when they're in the house because the dog or the cat can't get away from them. But if they're really, really don't like pets and you let your puppy out to go to the bathroom, that ghost could be messing, scaring the dog, stomping their foot at the dog, poking at the dog. And so if you think that's the case, then I would say go ahead and put a charm on the dog's collar so at least the ghost stays away from them when they're not in the house.
Mm-hmm. I don't like my cat was having an issue with that guy. And I would chuckle because you would always hear how cats protect, and keep your house safe from earthbounds and other entities. And I'm like, I have the biggest scaredy cat because he hid behind me all the time in every corner, in every piece of furniture. So he was definitely not earning his keep in that regard.
Right.
Really cute otherwise.
Yeah.
Let's see. We had a law of abundance question. Here it is. Patrick says, hi, Marianne. I forgot to write my law of abundance check this month. Bangs head. Can you write a check after a new moon? And if you do, is it still effective?
If you still write it the day of the new moon, it's going to have some effect, not as strong as if you had wrote it before it peaked. But yeah, don't go ahead and write it anyway, even if you miss. And Patrick, this was an easy one this month. It wasn't until 11 o'clock in the morning. Next month, you're going to have a real hard time because it's a couple minutes after midnight. So January is going to be a real pip to do.
All right. Natalie says, I periodically see a flash of light in my bedroom when I go to sleep, near my pillow and across the bedroom. Is this an earthbound spirit?
Not necessarily. It can be an orb that's buzzing across the room. Moms that have the monitor in their babies' rooms. It used to be just sound, but now there's a picture. A lot of people will see the orbs shooting across, that type of thing too. And those are spirits that have crossed over. Nothing to worry about. You're fine.
Let's see. Oh, lots coming in, so they're jumping. So Lewis says, my father passed away 10 years ago today. Sorry. A couple of days after he passed, a bunch of Christmas cards went flying off the shelf unexpectedly. Could a spirit do that so quickly after having passed?
Of course. I mean, they're out of their body the second they take their last breath. And they are free to roam, free to go everywhere they want with their white light until their memorial service, and then 48 to 72 hours after that. So, of course, they can do that. And maybe your dad wasn't happy that he was dead, or, who knows what the reasons were for him doing that. But it's absolutely possible. It would be a little bit more difficult when they go into the light because a lot of times it's, I don't know if it's an orientation class that they have to go through first before they can come back and forth. I really don't know. I know I've been in the white light, but obviously I don't remember. I never see anybody in it, so I can't answer that. But no, your dad absolutely could have done that. Yes.
Oh, and I know we've talked in the past about your book, When Ghosts Speak, being in different countries, and sometimes the title changes.
Oh, yeah.
And Shorty, he tells us that he loves your book, and I guess in Germany it's translated as Speaking with Spirits.
Right. And I've got copies of all the books, all of When Ghosts Speak from the other countries. And America is the only one When Ghosts Speak. The rest of them, even in London, in England, they have a different title on it. Everyone's titled different. Different pictures on the front, everything. The book is pretty much identically the same. They don't change the inside except translate it to their language. So I'm sure stuff would get lost in the translation, but it's pretty accurate.
So Lornell, she was with us last week, and her father had recently passed, and he had Alzheimer's. Her question is it possible that he has crossed over or using a portal traveling all over? And there were some previous parts of her question, but since he recently passed, Lornell, did you guys have the funeral yet? Because if not, right, he could be.
He could, absolutely. However, oh crud, it's snowing. Great. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's snowing here too. I was going to say, haha, it's over there by you.
Yeah. Alzheimer's, dementia, anything like that, somebody comes and gets them, usually at the funeral, at the viewing, if there is one. If there's not a viewing, then somebody comes and get them. Alzheimer's, anybody with any kind of mental deficiencies, mental problems, anything like that, somebody comes and gets them. A relative, an angel, a guardian angel, somebody comes and gets them. Once they've crossed over, of course, they're fine. They have their mind. They don't have any physical problems anymore, mental problems, and they can go wherever they want. They can go to any country in a blink of a heartbeat. I mean, just that fast, they can go from here to there. So, yes, they can go, and it's not a portal. They just do it on their own. I've never known a spirit that has crossed over to use a portal. Portals, in my opinion, are always used by earthbound spirits and nasty ones, not the nice, sweet old lady that walks in through the front door.
Let's see. Lionel says that he was buried a week after.
Well, then, if there was a memorial service, he stayed around for that. Somebody stayed with him from the light, and then he would have stayed for the memorial service, and then he would have crossed over immediately when that ended.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So Patrick is asking where to go to sign up for the next Zoom. On our website, under the events tab, there's a little drop down and it says haunted events. So if you click that, you're going to find where to sign up for the Zoom sessions. Let's see. There are some others that are multi-part because they're long. Like there's enough snow to cover the pavement now. Like it's quick.
Oh, it's snowing by you too.
Yeah, and usually we're in this one little bubble where it doesn't hit us, and it found this bubble. So part of Chrissy's follow-up says the older man in the house will stand by the son's bed and stare at him or give him a mean look and shake his head at him, or what he's watching on TV will pick up the remote and shake his finger.
Absolutely, they can do that. And I when I talk to you on Zoom, yes, that everything, that part that you're stating can absolutely be done. The The store said that you had ordered charms, and I stuck some extra seeds in that. And I want you, when you get that package, heaven knows when, because of the post office, but when you finally get it, take one of the extra quince seeds and tape it to the back of your son's headboard. He does not need to know it's there. This is a mom thing. Do it when he's not around and tape it to the back of his headboard. Any of your children, I don't know how many children you have, but I sent enough if you've got, a few kids. Any of your kids, that way, when the earthbound spirit comes into one of your kids' bedrooms, they will not be able to get closer than 3.5, 4 feet, which should give the kids a little bit of peace until we can figure out what we're going to do about your house.
Well, hopefully at some point COVID goes away and we'll start a Marianne road trip.
Right. That I-state isn't so far away that it can't be done on in a couple of days. So.
Right. Let's see. So Renee says, when in the family room, her cat often stares intently for a while toward the doorway that leads to a hallway where nothing or no one is. She suspects she may be seeing a ghost. The kitty seems okay, but are there warning signs I should watch out for? Can a ghost take energy from an animal, or do they only do that with people?
Okay. First part of the question is, cats are really good at seeing spirits that have crossed over also. And so she may be seeing that or an earthbound spirit. And we know your dad, he could be visiting because he hasn't crossed over yet. So that's a possibility too. Yes, they can get energy from animals, but what does your cat weigh? I mean, I've got a cat that's almost 18 pounds. Yeah, an earthbound spirit could probably get some energy from, Tubby over there, or a large sized dog, probably. But, a normal size, 10, 12-pound cat, not so much. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. I have had a lot of problems with farmers and with cows not giving milk because ghosts have been scaring the cows, so they're not milking as they should. And you'd be surprised how easy horses can see earthbound spirits. That actually surprised me. But, they weigh hundreds of pounds. Of course, they're going to get energy from an animal. Their main focus is humans, but, living, breathing, something with energy, they're going to go ahead and take it.
Let's see. Andrew asks, what is one of the nastiest spirit experiences you ever encountered?
Well, in Ghost Speak, there is a story when Ghosts Speak that a ghost flipped a little red-handled axe in front of me to scare me. And I actually got a picture of him. So if you ever, if you have the book, When Ghosts Speak, you can see a picture of him in the story that went with him. He was pretty cruddy. And I made the white light, and he said he would go to it, and he walked toward it, and then he veered off and just went right out the door. I have never run across him again. I imagine if I live long enough, I will probably run into him again somewhere. But this was, oh my gosh, this was in the 90s. And maybe somebody else figured out how to get him to cross over. I don't know. But he was the nastiest one for sure.
Let's see. Sandra says, what are your thoughts on residual? That's the word. Residual energy. I need more coffee. It's sitting way across. I forgot to bring it to this side of the room.
Yes. And that is how I can tell sometimes that there are spirits in somebody's house. When I talk to them on the phone or see them on Zoom, there may not be a ghost in the house right that minute, but there is definitely the energy, leftover energy from somebody that had been there, especially if they had been there 36 hours prior. I can usually tell. The closer it is to when they left, I can usually tell if it's a man or a woman. But yes, and the same thing, I can tell when there's residue on somebody, say somebody's working with somebody that's a very negative person or has a negative energy on them. They don't have the negative energy on them. However, they've got some of the residue from the negative person. So, yes, I can tell that.
Does the residue look, as Patrick is asking, does it look kind of like an aura, or does it look different?
You know, when you see sunlight and you can see dust in the sunlight, like little flakes and little particles in the sunlight, that's the best way for me to describe to me to you what it looks like to me. It's not a color, it's little movement. And again, when people that dust are sitting in the house and all of a sudden the sun, yes, whatever that is, comes through the window and you could see dust in that sunlight. That's what it looks like to me. See the snow falling behind me. It would almost be like that, only real fine. No color, just little particles. And that's how I can tell.
Let's see. There was, I don't know what's going on with my sound today. Lewis asks, if you don't mind telling, do you have any cool stories from when you were growing up with this ability, like managing a social life or going to high school? Hope you have a good Christmas.
Well, let me just say this way. There were definitely some guys I wouldn't date in high school for one reason or another. We'll let it go with that. I can't hear you.
How were like school dances? I'm sure the gyms and the libraries had to be full when you got all these kids excited.
Of course, they were always there, and I did go to Catholic school my whole life, Catholic high school, and it doesn't make any difference. They're still there, and yes, I could tell who they were attached to or who they weren't attached to. But you have to understand, nobody knew I could do this. And so I very well, I couldn't go up to one of the guys in math club and say, hey, no, Ron, you've got this ugly looking man attached to you. I just avoided him. So, and they didn't know I could see them. Still that way. If I don't wink at them or point to them or stare at them, they don't know I can see them. So none of them knew in high school that I could either. I mean, I saw spirits attached to some of my teachers. I saw negative energy on some of the priests and the nuns. Everybody's human. So.
Well, and you got in trouble as a little one telling the one nun that you didn't like the guy hanging around one of your friends, right?
That's right. And that's when I found out that not everybody else could do it. I just thought everybody could do it. Why would I think anything different? And that nun was so angry with me. The first time I told her about it, she said, oh, that's just her guardian angel. And for any of you that went to Catholic school, grade school, there's beautiful pictures on the walls of angels with wings and halos holding beautiful little children. This guy did not look like that. He looked like some kind of a pervert in a raincoat. And I thought, no, this is not a guardian angel. I had to talk to my grandmother about it, but I forgot. And then a couple of weeks later, I saw this same dude hanging around this little girl, my friend. And I went up to the nun and, she wasn't happy. And that's when I talked to my grandmother that day. And she says, nope, not everybody can do it. You can't tell anybody about it. So I didn't. And I listen. If nothing else, I listen to the nun, and I didn't tell my grandmother. I didn't say anything to anybody about it. So,
Here's a cool question. Do you think blood type has a factor in being a ghost whisperer?
oh, what a cool idea. Well, uh, our oldest daughter has my blood type, and she cannot do this. And my youngest daughter has my husband's blood type, and she can do this. So I don't think so. I think either you have the ability or you don't.
That would have been cool though if all of a sudden like it lined up and like
Right. And my mother was a totally different one. I do not know what my grandmother's blood type was. It'd be interesting to try to find out, but because she was the one that had the ability to, but I have no idea what her blood type was. So I don't know. I know that there's a new theory going out now or around about actually a really good friend sent it to me. There's certain types of blood that are more prone to get COVID than other types, which I thought was really interesting.
I think it's A.
Pardon?
I think it's A.
Yeah, A, exactly. A positive.
A negative.
There you go.
I remember the negative part because I had to get the shots in the butt while I was pregnant.
Pregnant. Yeah, no, mine were positive. But yeah, it's like, well, of course it's A. Why not?
We like life the hard way. What can I say?
You just throw it at us. We can handle it.
Let's see. Patrick asks, did you ever have a ghost that wouldn't leave you alone, like in the movie Ghost, where Patrick Swayze was singing to get Whoopi Goldberg to help him?
No, that's the movies. Absolutely, that's the movies. I had one show up in the middle of the night, but he had been killed. He was an officer, a law officer, and so he needed his buddy to know where his body was. But no, they do not follow. It's like that's not even an option. They don't even, and my house does not have the seats on them. But no, I've never had one follow me around. I mean, if one knew I could do this and they really wanted to cross over, of course, I would cross them over. But seeing that they don't know I can do what I do, no, not really.
Well, we have a lot of people putting in that they're A negative and A positive. So maybe our theory should be A blood types have an interest in this type of topic.
There you go.
Here we all are.
That's right.
Sandra says that she once had a rental car that came with an unwelcome passenger in the back seat. So then I have to wonder, did you see him in the rear view mirror? Fortunately, it did not cause me to wreck, but why in the world would someone hang around a rental car?
Well, this is pretty easy. Don't make it harder than it is. If you're in a rental car, it would be for a number of reasons. You wrecked your own car and you need a rental car. You're in a different city and you need to rent a car from the airport. How familiar are you with the streets? How stressed are you with, do I know all the little gadgets that work on this car? Nobody is real comfortable driving a vehicle that is not their own. Mm-hmm. And just the stress, I mean, think about it. Just this, are you going to get there on time? Can I make a right turn? Is that a one-way street? It's just the stress. And people don't usually rent vehicles just because they didn't have anything better to do. So it's usually for a reason, and that reason is probably what could stress you out, which would make a ghost sit in the back seat. Which, when at Halloween time, I was always on a radio show for years and years. I used to call Trapper Jack, my Halloween husband, and we did radio call-ins, and he always said to the caller, Marianne, tell me what room the ghost is in and what the room looks like. And I would, and that's exactly, I was right. But the rule was you had to call from the house or the place where you thought the ghost was at before you could call the radio station. Well, the one call came in, and I said to Trapper, I says, no, I said, she's in a car. She's not in her house. And he said to this gal, he says, are you in a car? She said, yes. And she says, I'm going to work. I tried to listen to you at home, but it was too long to wait, so I had to start going to work. And so he said, so Trapper says to me, what do you see, Marianne? And I says, well, I see downtown Cleveland out of the window of the car. That wasn't good enough for him. And he said, yeah, what else do you see? I says, she got a ponytail, and in the back of her hair, the scrunchie is purple. Never again. The girl almost ran off the road. So we don't do that anymore. And I told Trapper when that program was over, I said, don't ever ask me to do that again when somebody's in a car. He says, no, we won't. So, but yeah, absolutely do ride with you.
Let's see. So Chrissy asks, I heard these days that TVs are used as black mirrors. Is this true? I'll jump in on that one, Mary. Anything that's dark colored you can use for scrying. Black mirrors are not necessarily evil, nor are they considered always to be portals. It's scrying. And before you get scared about scrying, when you look up at the clouds and you see things in the clouds, that's scrying. It's seeing imagery in places that you normally wouldn't. So quit freaking yourself out over mirrors and TVs and reflective things. Stop it. just stop it.
You know, with what she's got going on in her house, and she does have an issue with earthbound spirits, you are adding layers and layers on top of what's already going on because of all of this stuff that you're trying to find out about. Stop it. Make yourself a cup of coffee and sit down and watch Kelly on TV or something. Stop it. Don't make this worse than it is. You've got kids in the house. Don't act like this.
Mm-hmm. What time are we at? Oh, we still have like 15 minutes to go. This was going by pretty quick, and I thought we were already 11. Yeah, Lisa says it's snowing in Brooklyn, so I guess we're all getting it.
We're all going to get it.
Darn it.
It's not. At least we're not getting what was going to be dumped on the East Coast today. They're really looking for feet of snow. Of course, we had it last week. We had it really bad, but they're really going to get it.
Well, you know, and it's funny, like if my Tucson shows go on and I get to go, which I got one email that says, hey, the show's on. And then I got an email from a different show, because really Tucson's 40 some odd individual shows throughout the whole city. It's not one big one. And I'm also getting these emails from other ones that are saying, hey, they're rescinding all the permits, you know, and that was coming at 11 o'clock last night. So, but, you know, I would go out there January into February, and the last year or two, I'm getting there and there's like snow in Phoenix and snow in Tucson. And I'm like, darn it, I left Ohio for warmth.
Get away from it.
Yes, I am not a fan, Mother Nature.
But there is no weather change going on at all.
Right.
Yeah, never.
Wink. Let's see. Oh, poor Trisha. Yeah, she's on the East Coast, so stay safe.
Please stay safe. It's heavy, wet snow. Don't shovel if you don't have to.
Right. I'm one of the weirdos. I don't mind shoveling. It's like therapeutic. That repetitive, monotonous movement. I'm a weirdo. I don't mind shoveling as long as I'm warm.
No.
I don't mind physical labor.
Salt, lots of salt.
And I think I kind of asked you before off screen, does snow or weather affect, or temperatures affect ghosts at all?
No, it does not, but I think it's interesting because when a ghost, an earthbound spirit, is standing next to somebody, they can usually feel a temperature change. Most of them, because of TV and the movies, they always say it's a cold spot, but it can be a warm spot too. But the temperatures, rain, no, nothing bothers them. I mean, pure energy, no.
Well, Marlena says it's not snowing in New Mexico, but it's 18 degrees. Still not.
Well, you know, 18 would be okay, I guess, if it didn't snow, because you can always stay warm.
Well, I know, like in Tucson, like those houses are like stucco; they're not made for cold, and so at night, like I'm there with like 3 comforters. Like I left Ohio, damn it, to be warmer.
Right. That's why I could never understand New Mexico, Arizona, California. Houses that I would do out there always had these massive fireplaces. And it's like, why would you have a fireplace in California? But it does get cold there.
It does. And it feels so much more extreme. And I know, like, Marlena can be like, yeah, because she lives there. But it's like, it goes from like 70 in the day to like really cold at night. And it's huge.
Yeah.
I melted the bottoms of my shoes the one night at a fire pit out back after rock hunting all day at the show. And then it got cold. And, and I'm like, oh, I need those shoes tomorrow. Back away from the fire. Sandra, the rental was due to an accident. So she had the rental car with the ghost in the backseat. Well, was that her fault? I also made the rental company give me another car. No more issues.
Well, you're lucky that the ghost didn't jump out of that car and jump into this car, which it could have done, but you had an option there, which was a good choice.
Especially, I wonder if that first car was more of a sporty car, and maybe the guy, if it was a guy ghost, like if he enjoyed the sporty car.
Yeah, and if Renee or whoever, what was her name, Sandra?
Sandra.
Yeah, if you're really hot looking, that could be a reason why he rode in the car with you too.
Because I don't see soccer moms haunting rental vans. Excuse me. Andrew asks, when you make the white light clear house, do you feel more drained than when you're not working? If so, what do you do to recharge?
No, dealing with earthbound spirits have never bothered me. I've never get tired from them at all. Sometimes I get really tired from the living people in the house because let's face it, every house I go into, the questions are always the same. They never change. So sometimes, I get, tired from that. And that's why when I first started doing this, they could have their neighbors over, they could have whoever they wanted over, but I never got out of a house, and that wasn't working. That's why it's limited to whoever lives in the house, because that way I can get in and out. But no, that's, and when I feel really dragging or really tired, I go to the ocean. Which I haven't been able to do now for 3 years. But I like to go, I'm Pisces. I love water. So that usually will, if nothing else, this summer we did, just did a lot of fishing off of a pier, but water's water.
Even my teenage son likes to go chill up by Lake Erie. Like he'll go with me for beach glass hunting just for the water. He doesn't care about the beach glass. He just wants to be.
It revitalizes a lot of people. I have to admit, sun signs usually don't like water so much, but water signs obviously do. And it's funny because I am Pisces, but my Leo is my rising, but I still love water. So.
Patrick has another question. It says, I know ghosts can't eat or drink, but can they change the way they look, like what they're wearing, or do they look only like how they died? So can they change their clothing? Can they change?
Oh, yeah. No, they can absolutely change their clothing. It makes no difference. Which they could smoke. They could smoke pipes, cigars, cigarettes. I've even seen somebody smoking a marijuana cigarette, but I've never, ever, I don't know where they get the clothes or the smokes from. I have no idea. I don't know. Is there Dillards in the sky or something? I don't know where they get the clothes from. And as far as how they look like they're the same size and shape that they were when they died, but their color is good. And if they were missing parts and pieces, the spirit is always whole. There's no leg missing or an arm missing or anything like that. Their color looks good. But if a person, when they were healthy, weighed 180 pounds, and then due to bad health, they're down to 100 pounds, they're going to still look thin, but they're still going to look healthy. So that's what they look like. And a lot of times, most of the spirits, the earthbound spirits, have what they were buried in. That's what I see them wearing. But they absolutely can change clothes. I can always tell when people are cremated, because a lot of people don't get buried or burned or cremated with their clothes on. Don't even go there.
And nobody told them there's a Dillard's in the sky to go get some clothing. Just scrolling back here, seeing if there was any questions we may have missed. Well, that's a fun little thing, though, that you can change your clothes before you go into the light.
Think what you could have fun trying on.
You know, like all of those fun old, like, Victorian dresses and
right,
you know, just anything.
Oh, I'd head for Tiffany's.
There you go.
Why not?
Let's see. I think we've gotten. Oh, Patrick says naked ghosts are funny.
Not all the time.
Are they? Do they peek around the corner at you because they're naked, or do they once they know that you can see them?
They don't really care. No. No. And it was so odd. I remember the very first time that I realized that was going on, that the ghost was very angry. And I'm sitting on the couch talking to the people, and he is walking up and down from the steps to the fireplace. And the whole time he's walking, he's pounding his fists like this because he was so angry about what they did with his body. And he didn't have a stitch on. And I had to just keep putting my head down like this, because it's like, oh, this is more than I ever cared to see, believe me. And it's bad because once you see it, you can't get rid of it. It's in your head.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, that would, especially the first time to run into that.
Right.
You know, like, can you go put something on real quick while we have this conversation?
Stand behind the chair, will you?
Right. Like, peek around the corner.
Right.
So our friend from Germany, he's got another question. It says, I think a ghost or something dropped something out of glass on the ground. Me and my wife woke up and it was like it's in the bedroom, but there was nothing broken in the house. Never had that happen before.
Absolutely. They can make all kinds of noise. It sounds like doors are opening and closing. It sounds like somebody's walking across the second floor upstairs when nobody's up there. It sounds like somebody is down in the basement. They kick the side of the furnace and there's this big boom noise. And they can do that, and you jump up and nothing is out of place. Absolutely nothing. And absolutely they can do that. And pay attention. If you are seeing this stuff happen, and you're probably going to see it happen closer to the week working up to a full moon or around a new moon, because that is when they do have more energy. Now, they can move things, obviously, but they can, it can sound like the whole house is crashing down and nothing's out of space.
It's like, how can define if it's a ghost or not? So, like you said, kind of a hint would be new moon, full moons. You would be able to help them by knowing on the Zoom if they wanted to join our Zoom. I know there's somebody
from Germany, didn't we?
I think so. About a month ago.
The first one from out of the country was Germany, and we've gotten a couple now from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no, Zoom is absolutely doable. That, it's too hard to make the call back because of the time change. And get on a waiting list if you call from out of the country. You are going to wait at least 4, 5, 6 weeks before I get back to you. Zoom is pretty on the spot. If you want to know something's in your house right now, that you should think about getting on Zoom. It really does work.
Right. And so there's the link directly to the Zoom events. The next one's January 8th. It's a Friday evening, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So be mindful of the time change, guys. Or not the time change, but the time difference. But anybody from anywhere, we limit it to 30 people, so there'll only be 32, which is the 30 participants, Marianne, myself. Marianne's doing all the work. You probably won't even see me. I'll be in the background muting and unmuting. And I kind of put my picture of the storefront on and let you guys chat with Marianne without me interrupting. And it's not recorded, so it's not something that's going to show up, on YouTube later to watch or on a TV show to watch. If we do record it, it's for promotional from Marianne, and it's more centered on what she does, not going, hey, look what this person has going on in their house. That's not for. So if anybody would like to join, there's the link directly to that. Let's see. Andrew asked, do spirits get angry if their body is not taken care of per their wishes for burial versus cremation?
Yes, and that could be a reason why people do not cross over, because they didn't want to be cremated and the family did, or they wanted to be cremated and the family said no. So try to go along with their wishes. I mean, and if your family doesn't trust you or you don't trust your family for doing what you want, go in ahead of time and pay for your funeral. Then it's taken care of. Nobody can change it.
Right. No room for error there. Andrea says, hi, Marianne. My name is Rhonda. I've been looking, sorry, it says Andrea. So, okay. I've been looking at pictures and I noticed a green orb following me. The orb has a pinkish aura around it. I guess, could that be?
Absolutely. Auras or orbs can be any color, any size. They can be sparkly. Orbs are always pictures of people that have crossed over and are back for visiting. If there's a design in the middle of your orb, try to enlarge it. If the picture was taken on something digital, and you can usually see a side profile or a face of who it is. If the orb is blank in the middle, it's just a dust particle. It's nothing, but orbs are good. You want orbs in pictures, especially this time of year with the holidays.
So Marlena asks, I got a dream pillow from you. Will that have an effect when I talk to you on Zoom?
No, it will not. All that dream pillow is doing is helping you remember your dreams. And because of the seed inside the pillow, at least if there is anything, I don't remember if there was any ghost in your house or not, but if you do have a ghost, at least it won't get close to you while you're sleeping. It'll stay 3.5, 4 feet away from you. And I wanted to tell you before I forget, on the 21st of December, Jupiter and Saturn are so close together, they look like this huge bright star in the sky. And it is called the Christmas Star of Bethlehem. Apparently, this is what was shining on the day on Christmas when Jesus was born. And it has not been in the sky at this time for over 800 years. The last time it was in this position was 1623. Anybody can see it. If you look in the sky, I believe it's to the north, about an hour after sunset. I believe anybody's going to be able to see it. The 21st, it'll be the brightest, but you could see it a couple days before or a couple days after. It's pretty cool.
That'll be fun to watch. I like all that astrology stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
Lewis says when he dies, he's going to change his clothes and go into the white light looking like someone out of Dynasty.
don't forget your bling, because Dynasty wore a lot of bling.
Right? There's a lot of comments about it being funny. And, wouldn't it be funny to get a whole bunch of earthbounds or people that had just recently passed and put on this fashion show going into the white light, and then what it would look like on the other side? Just this.
Well, keep this in mind. An earthbound spirit has identically the same personality that they had when they were alive. Mm-hmm. And if they were a catty person when they're alive, they're still going to be a catty, judgmental person when they're dead too. So, but he said going into the light, he was going to be dressed up really snazzy. So that's good. At least he's going into the light and not sticking around.
Right. Which, you know, that's the thing that we talked about in the beginning when we first started doing this. If anybody chose to hang around, like, but go to the funeral home and you can go into anybody's light because it's not for that one person. So
that's right. So if you get stuck and you lose the light, that's exactly how you cross over. Anybody in a funeral home for a viewing, they're standing at the foot of their casket. The white light is right there. It's not individual. Use it. Go into it and you will not be stuck anymore.
So they said now that you've done the cookbook, the recipes for the ghost, maybe a fashion book. We'll leave the naked ones out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, at least there was something tangible. You could hold the recipes. The clothes, let's face it, it would pretty much be my opinion if I liked them or not, which wouldn't always be a fair opinion.
So Andrea says, it's Andrea now. My mom passed away and I was just wondering if she visits me.
If your mother has not crossed over, or if she has crossed over, yes, they always visit. They never miss a special occasion, or birthday, an anniversary, their death, their birthday. They always show up, especially with the holidays. Heck, with this COVID, they may be the only visitors you have this year because you can't see your live ones. But if she has not crossed over, like I said, she can still visit. But if she has crossed over, if you've had a dream of her, then you know she has crossed over and that's where she is. And she will come in your dreams, and you can talk to anybody that has crossed over in your dreams. Earthbound spirits do not get in any dreams.
There we go. So it's a little after 11, so it went by really quick. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So same ghost channel, same ghost time, since we can't say bat.
That's right. You did the thing about Batman. So
I like bats. I think they're cute.
I don't have a problem with them.
Right.
One of the baseball players that I had to take a curse off of lived in another country. And when he came to Cleveland to play for the Indians, which apparently we're not going to be very long anymore. But anyway, when he came to play for the Indians, he brought out of his office this box. There was chicken feet in it and blood of I don't know what. There were bat wings. I mean, I think little cute bats are cute. I don't have a problem with them, but I got to tell you, in a box with all that other stuff, they sort of look creepy.
Yeah. All sorts of theories of what that could be, which we don't have time for today.
I wouldn't even know. I just said put the lid on and take it to the trash can. I didn't have any idea what it was and didn't really want to know except what I could look at and pick out. So
a whole box of drama, just leave that to the side.
Get rid of it. Yes. Get rid of it.
All right. So join us next Wednesday, everybody. If you're interested in Zoom, the next one with openings is June 8th. So which is a Friday night.
And I'll be there at Melissa's this Saturday. So if you need a good Christmas present, all my product will be there. The store is full of wonderful gifts if you need gifts yet. And with the post office, if you need something for Christmas, that might be the way you're going to have to get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Come pick it up and have it ready drop in your friend's mailbox or family's mailbox rather than mailing it, because
they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
No way.
Time.
Okay, everybody enjoy and stay warm and stay safe.
Yes. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.